everyone, and welcome to the AON Rundown presents the history of the AON. I'm the X-Man, and joining me, my co-host, Mike Edwards.
Thank you. On this presentation, we are going to be looking at the past of the AON, going the whole way back from the JWA all the way to the future stars of tomorrow.
Let's set the stage here a bit. AON, Professional Wrestling Federation based out of Johnstown. Established in 2008, the AON has quickly grown to become one of the area's hottest tickets.
In fact, the average indie show pulls in roughly 75 people. Not bad, but AON pulls in somewhere between 150 and 300 people consistently per show.
On this special, you're going to get an in-depth look. We're going to go behind the curtain and get the story from the people who are living a dream. Professionally trained entertainers. The men who put their bodies on the line every night for fans, both young and old.
And what better place to start than the beginning of the beginning, the JWA.
Well, the biggest thing here about JWA was myself and my cousin Big Time, Bill Collier. We started it in it was a church, an abandoned church over in Hornerstown. We rented it off a lady. It was like $110 for this building. We'd run shows out of there.
I walked into this church. It was all run down. Used to be old skate, where they used to skate and all that. And I seen this ring, and I was like, wow, that is a real ring. These guys are for real.
There'd be shows where I'd be standing at the door, you know, without the top hat and the coat on, just telling people, hey, we can't fit no more. You gotta go. There'd just be people packed. No heat in this place, which you couldn't tell. You'd think it was up to 90 because of how many people the walls would sweat. That's how many people were in there.
I got in the ring one day and just started bumping. They were like bumps, so I bumped. And it was definitely the first time I ever realized that, you know, wrestling really isn't fake, because it's not easy to land on that wood and beams. And there's not too much cushion. And from there on out, I was just like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do with my free time.
JWA, man. Oh, well, the Ringmaster brought me along. It was something that I really didn't want to do, but I decided that I was going to wrestle again, and the Ringmaster brought me along, and I got on the roller coaster and went for a long ride. Started at the very bottom. Didn't even want me to go anywhere. Said I'd never get titles. Said I would never because of my attitude. They said my attitude was horrible. Then it went on to, I started becoming a very popular attraction to the JWA. Everyone started following behind me, making Black Lightning t-shirts.
The success of JWA was short-lived, however, as cracks began to form between the relationship of the owner and the talent.
The JWA had made a splash in Johnstown with just word of mouth. These young kids with a wrestling ring running shows out of an old church had caught the interest of not only the surrounding neighborhoods where it ran the shows, but of the whole entire city.
But all good things come to an end. JWA was no exception.
The fall of it, I mean, that's simple enough. You have a company where a man feels responsible that he started everything, that everything should be his. The crowd at this point was backing Black Lightning, Shane Malice, a relatively unknown Israel St. Patrick.
I think at that time, Bill started to realize that there were some people that were outshining him. He was actually in a training facility out there in Indiana with the APWF. And he just seen the talent that me and Black Lightning and Shane Malice had, and realized that he wasn't the star of the JWA show no more.
You know, the story behind that goes a little deeper than most people think. Bill was a little upset with the way things were going, and like everyone says, man, he packed up and left.
I think the end truly came. There was a 6-man tag where you had Big Time Bill Collier, Black Lightning, and Shane Malice as partners. And I remember this because I knew it was going to be bad as soon as I seen it slated. And Malice came out and the crowd erupted. And you're like, wow. Big Time came out, and it was like, okay, you know, he's a face, got people like him, but it still wasn't like Malice. And then Black Lightning came out, and the crowd went bananas.
Man, what a match. I'll never forget that. Myself, Shane Malice, and Big Time Bill Collier versus Israel St. Patrick, C4, full stick at the time. The crowd was so loud on this side for the FCM. The crowd was so loud on this for Team JWA, and it exploded.
And it was just an epic match. Like, you had high flying, you had hardcore, you had whatever.
I remember going into that FCM versus JWA match, and that was Black Lightning, Shane Malice, and Bill. And Bill didn't want no part of figuring out what it was going to be as far as in-ring style. And when day came, you know, rumors go around when catches, and sort of landed on him that it was going to be some kind of hardcore violent match. And really wasn't the case. A lot of people back then thought that my hardcore style meant that, you know, thumbtacks, broken glass, whatever it was going to be, but that really wasn't going to happen. And he actually got all mad and brought some light tubes. I think somebody brought a fire extinguisher. Like, a lot of people thought we were going to tear the place down pretty much. It was pretty insane. And we just went out there and had a solid 35-minute match, 6-man, and it was real nice.
And you could just see the look on Big Time's face. He was done. He was done. He wasn't running a Fed where he wasn't the #1 guy, and it folded. It folded shortly after.
Well, people's heads were too big, man. Honestly, I think that Mr. Big Time didn't go over the way he thought, and he was jealous of the world's largest faces, the world's greatest show on earth, and Mr. Black Lightning. I think he was pretty upset that those two go over so much.
I don't understand. People's egos getting just, I guess, out of control. It was a free show. I thought we were all friends. And egos. It'll kill you.
I don't know, man. Ego had a lot to do with it. Me and Bill used to be really cool. And you see another side of a person once you realize that a person's egos has been hurt. It's pretty depressing sometimes, but that's what happens, yeah. Got all mad, took his ball, as some people say, and just ran out.
Well, I don't know if ego was really a part of it. At least to me. I mean, Bill was the kind of guy that he let you know that he knew he was good. But from my perspective, I'd like to think that the guy that made me who I am today wasn't that guy.
When the JWA disbanded, this talented young roster found themselves not only with no jobs, but with nothing to do. Bill Collier had moved on to another federation, but the majority of JWA talent and staff were looking for their next big thing, and that was just around the corner.
One person on the roster, in particular, was determined to bring professional wrestling back to Central Pennsylvania. Someone who helped start JWA in the first place, the Ringmaster.
AON started with Ringmaster actually had enough money to, you know, put something together for us, get a ring, start some kind of, you know, whatever for his friends, just do it for fun. And I just realized at that point we have an opportunity to do something big.
AON it had to happen. There was no getting around it. You had so much talent, so much raw talent too. That's the scary part. Just untamed, like I'd like to say. You know, I'm untamed. But so I approached a guy with some money, Alex O'Norway.
When the Ringmaster, I guess you could say, teamed up with Alex O'Norway, I mean, it was kind of a match made in heaven if you think about it, because here we were, just a bunch of rogue wrestlers, as people call us, that pretty much when JWA was ended, there was nowhere to go. He kind of brought the life back to it.
And I don't know if he was so much a wrestling fan. I don't even know if he cares for the business as much as people think, because you never see him. I seen him that one time. He started AON. You know, he's got all his people that work for him that do things. I truly think the guy just wanted to spend some money, and I'm a hell of a salesman, so that's why AON's here.
When AON took off, it was it's a whole bunch of work. This here, this guy wanted to be this character. This guy wanted to be this character. But
Starting the AON, I said, you know what? Got guys like Malice, the Ringmaster, ISP, Black Lightning. I figure those are the best in the business right now. So why don't I go up there and put my name in the hat?
You know, I said that Alex O'Norway, he loves to spend money, but the thing is, there was no interest. There's no vested interest for this guy. So he spent his money, and he kind of just said, well, do what you got to do. Here's the commissioner, the broker.
And then was approached by Alex O'Norway and the Ringmaster. They had this great idea to form together and build an empire, if you will, of the AON, All or Nothing Wrestling. I thought this was a great idea. I haven't smashed ahead in a while. But they didn't want me to come in on that level. They wanted me to come in and take control, to take leadership, to lead this group of men into battle. And we formed the AON.
We found another abandoned activity center over here in Moxham where we ran the first Thunder Cup out of, and pretty much invited family and friends and let the noise bring people in, which I'd say there was probably a good 100 to 200 people here on a free show where we had a tournament and we had it go. I think it was a whole day with 3 matches to get to the end, and I was in the finals of that. I didn't pull through. I didn't pull that out.
man, that was something. You just get to go back out there for the first time in over like a year and a half, and you some of the same fans, new fans.
We had a Thunder Cup in 08. It ended up, it was tournament style, just like the one at Thunder in the Valley was, but it ended in a fatal 4-way with me, Malice, Ringmaster, and Black Lightning.
And that led us in the War for Territory, our first event that we held up at the Westmont Grove, where we had the two people that went to the finals of that tournament face off for the AON Western PA title.
When that show went down, you had some great matches. You had the Ringmaster versus Lightning. You had ISP versus Malice for the Western PA title.
I was in the first main event against Israel St. Patrick. Probably the worst match of my life. I've never felt more broken. I guess that would be the word I'd describe it with. I've never felt more broken wrestling anyone that was so vicious. It was a learning experience. He beat me clean. There's nothing I can say about it. I mean, he was the better man that night.
Just had War for Territory 1, and I ended up beating Malice, which was an epic main event. And still I watch to this day, and away we went. And the crowds kept getting bigger and bigger as the shows kept going.
Estoy AON. Noresta Mursha Costineo Unstein Okeseras. Kulikara Mahuha Sontipakao. Estoy en Kabagao. Uno poki poncho graimas. Aukana. Estoy quedando estampa. Estire copopolicum zites tu. Fascito.
Now, moving forward, with all this raw, untamed talent, the AON just keeps pushing forward. I mean, it's just like unstoppable because there's no brains behind it at this point. We're just going and going and going. We get to Thunder in the Valley, Johnstown's premier summer festival, where I think there's like 90,000 people that come in, and we were asked by the person who runs this to go down there, and we're drawing crowds of 4,000 or 5,000 people who are just like, wow.
It only gets better, man. You wouldn't think that it could get better than that. So at War for Territory, I'm saying, man, this is the best card they could have possibly put together. And then the next show after that, man, this is the best card they possibly put together. It's kind of like when Madden comes out, Madden football. You're like, how could it get any better next year? Like, this is the greatest thing ever. But it always does, and that's what the AON reminds me of.
These are big things that, like, a year and a half ago we never would have thought possible.
By this time, the AON was in full swing. There were monthly shows, a brand new website, and AONWrestling.com, merchandise, DVDs, and the list, well, it goes on.
And the roster kept growing. AON Talent Scouts working overtime, bringing the new talent, such as Colin Blair, Ryan Fear, and Adam Nostick.
and the AON street team were spreading the message with street flyers and word of mouth. But owner Alex O'Norway wanted to expand the marketing reach and get control of his company that had gotten a little out of whack at the hands of his commissioner, the Broker.
So Alice called in a colleague and took AON in a whole new direction.
And somewhere along the line, a guy named Kes Edison, he heard of us, I don't know, but it just a light bulb went off in this guy's head. So now he bought in to where Alex O'Norway really, he doesn't care so much. He just wants, I don't even know what Alex O'Norway does, to be honest with you. He lets the Broker come in, he runs his thing, he does whatever. It's all shady. Me and him have had run-ins, but Kes Edison is the yin to his yang now. He's running things. He's got promotions. He's got a sponsorships. He's getting venues. He's got important people looking at us now, and I think that you're going to see big things from the AON.
Man, thank God we met Kes. He's helped us with sponsorships, helps us get a TV show.
Now that Kes Edison came into the picture, let's just say the Broker was a tyrant and was really enforcing his way. Kes Edison was kind of the counterbalance to that, and it's kind of nice to know that, you know, the good guys at the back can have someone to rely on and not worry about the struggles of who's the Broker going to try to put me against to get me injured. Since he's been here, I mean, he's already helped me out get a shot against ISP for the belt again, and once again came up short. That time it wasn't fair. I definitely was a better man that night, but every dog has his day.
Kes
Alex O'Norway thought it'd be a great idea to bring somebody in to help guide the company, which I think is a horrible idea. But I guess I have to deal with it and live with it as much as other decisions in the AON.
Why wouldn't I buy into the AON? I have a business partner, I've known the guy for a while, Alex O'Norway, calls me up. Hey, I have this property I bought into about a year and a half ago. So he tells me he's got this guy, the Broker, he's running amok. He's setting up whatever he wants. I'm looking at his business plan. Really? Did you see the business plan? Let's just say I'm ready to move the AON forward. And it's going to be awesome, with or without the Broker.
So this brings us to the current state of AON. When it started as a small backyard group of friends, grew into a company that is on the verge of becoming the biggest wrestling company in central Pennsylvania.
AON expanded out of the Grove and into other venues and shows at larger community events. They even started running shows outside of Johnstown.
And the future of AON seems to be white hot. Kes Edison brought with him an aggressive advertising campaign, including radio, print, and spearheading the launch of AON RunDown, the weekly television show on Fox. With these great additions, the AON has moved from that small local wrestling company into a regional force to be reckoned with.
And no one truly knows what the future holds for this amazing company, but we can guarantee you this: it's going to be a very bright future.
Expanding territory is, wow. Like I said, a year and a half ago, I mean, we never thought we'd make it out of the Grove. Like, when we first got into the Grove, that was amazing for us. And just moving around the way that we have, I mean, like I said, the Thunder Cup, we were at the Dog Run, all these things, and now we're branching off into these different sections that we never even thought would be possible. And our fan base is growing at a ridiculous rate. I'm constantly being approached by people asking, like, just random questions that it makes you feel good to know that people know who you are now. I enjoy it.
I like to sit here and I'd brag about what I'm going to do in the AON, but the AON itself as a whole is so much bigger than me. I see the territory of the AON expanding, and I don't see it stopping in Pennsylvania or the surrounding states. I'm thinking this is going to be across the country, maybe even worldwide. I'd say 2-3 years, I'll be going to Japan and wrestling.
I always told people that my goal for the AON was to get free drinks in the bar. If we could get that big, we're gonna be, you know, something special. I actually believe today that AON is gonna be one of the biggest wrestling companies, definitely in the western side of Pennsylvania. It's tough to compete with Ring of Honor and CZW, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I have a feeling that we're gonna actually get to the level that ECW got to in a certain point in the late 90s. I think we can get to that level because the way we performed is like no other indie fed in this area, and I've seen a lot of indie feds. And the only indie fed I've ever seen compete up close to what we do live is Ring of Honor. And I had to travel the whole way to New York City to see that, so I have big dreams for what we're gonna do. I'm glad to be a part of what we're gonna do. However far that takes me, I believe that my kids one day will be wrestling for the AON. I believe the Ringmaster's kids will be wrestling for the AON. Shay Malice's kids will be wrestling for the AON.
Starting off in a backyard, going to the JWA, a free show. Now people are actually paying to see you, and now we're going to be going on to other venues, going out to Somerset to get ourselves exposed. It's a dream. It's all one big dream.
When I seen that AON couldn't be stopped was some of the sponsors and the TV shows and stuff that we got now. Like, I pictured myself, like I said, I came here just to, you know, wrestle with the best, man, and that's what we're doing. And when people come like Kes Edison and stuff and say, guys, you got a TV show, or we got these sponsors and this and that, you're just like, wow, it's really overwhelming. And I've never been a part of something that's grown this fast to the level we're at in a year and a half, not even.
Kulikara mahuha sontipakao. Estoy en kabagao. Uno po ki poncho graimas. Aukana. Estoy querendo estampa.
Future AON definitely looks bright. Got a lot of talent. Now a television show. New minority owner, that little boy Kes Edison. Don't know much about him, but that boy better stay out of my way.
Look where we're at now. We're on TV. We're moving regionally. We're going all over central Pennsylvania. We've got merchandise. AON's going to be huge. AON's not going to be huge because of me. It's not going to be huge because of Alex O'Norway. It's going to be huge because the talent in AON is ridiculous. This place, the AON's going to blow up. It's going to be phenomenal. And you guys are coming along for the ride. So thanks.
Last year was incredible for the AON, but 2010 is going to be the biggest yet. It's going to make me so much happier, and the thing that makes me happy is money. And we are going to bring in so much money, so much of your money, and we appreciate our fans.
I don't ever really consider myself a role model. But I understand that, you know, growing up in a dysfunctional family, growing up, you know, in the foster care system, that you tend to realize that you don't have much of a choice of what you do in life. For the kids coming up, there is something else out there other than running the streets, other than, you know, not caring about what's going to happen in your future, because eventually something's going to happen in your future and you have to make the best of it.
I love each and every single person that comes in here and just takes the opportunity to step in the ring, whether they don't make it or they continue on and make something of themselves. There's a whole bunch of future rookies, Colin Blair, Starr, Adam Nosting. It's
The AON, man. I mean, it's like I said, the sky's the limit. It can only get better.
So in a nutshell, there you have it. The brief but impressive history of All or Nothing Wrestling. The story of friends who started wrestling and grew that love of performing into a fully fledged company. The one thing that I've noticed in my time here at AON that no one mentioned is how tight-knit of a group this truly is. It really is like a big family. And no matter the argument, disagreement, everyone here has one goal: to entertain that person, you, that pay their hard-earned dollar to see a family-friendly show.
In conclusion, we'd like to both thank you for watching the history of AON and to remind you to join us on Fox 8 every Saturday morning at 9:30 for AON RunDown, where the X-Men and myself will recap all the breaking news and highlights of All or Nothing Wrestling.
Thank you for joining us. Check out our website, aonwrestling.com. See ya.